up, everybody? This is Jason again, back with Campbell's Morel Music Rig Rundown, and we've just lost what episodes we're on, so we're not even counting anymore. But I'm way back here behind all this gear, kind of tucked into this one spot, and I'm afraid to move because if I unplug anything, this whole shit goes down, you know. But this is probably the most impressive rig that we've had on here by far, and I watched him hook it up, and I made comments about Dinosaur Jr. and everything. I don't think Dinosaur Jr. carries this much, but we welcome Scott Wallace of the band Death Nebula, and they're out of Asheville, North Carolina. So we're starting to expand their territory a little bit, getting out of the Johnson City, Bristol area, Kingsport. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening for this, and appreciate you being here. Always, you know, just we got a lot to talk about, I guess. So let's just jump right into your rig, and we'll talk about your guitar first, and then the signal chain or the flow or whatever after that. So
so the guitar is a Kiesel 7-string Vader. It's one of the more like compact guitars, so it looks like nothing, but it's really comfortable to play. It's really easy to play. Ever since I got a Carvin before I had this one, and basically came out of the same shop. It's just an older model, and just fell in love with it. I was playing PRS before that, Les Paul before that. And this is just where I ended up, and I don't think I'll ever go back from here. This is just what I like to play.
Yeah. We had a guy a few episodes back that had one of those headless. I can't remember the model of what he had, but yeah, very ergonomic and very comfy. Yeah.
It's a great guitar.
And 7-string. And what do y'all normally do? Y'all use multiple tunings or usually?
No, for Death Nebula, it's just one. Everything's in the same tuning. It's standard, but a whole step down.
I gotcha.
Yeah, tuned down.
Yeah. All right, and so out of that, I'll let you discuss where the signal flows and how it flows, and as we get to each pedal or each unit here, we'll just talk about those too. So
okay, all right. Well, yeah. So right now, straight out of the guitar, I actually have something extra that I haven't had hooked up in a minute. I actually have a MIDI guitar to MIDI pedal, which can send a MIDI signal to this keyboard and actually play the keyboard like the guitar. Can actually play the keyboard, and then I'm using this as it's just a volume pedal for this, so I have a way to go in and out of it because it only works one note at a time. So if you're playing chords, this ends up sounding like garbage. So you have to pick and choose parts where it's just like single note picking for it to dial that. Yeah, and then from there I have some mono effects that I go into. I have a wah pedal. It says Dunlop Crybaby Kirk Hammett model into the Digitech whammy. From there goes into a Blackout Effectors phaser or whetstone. That one's really fun. Got ring modulator and some other
awesome
stuff to make it sound like Mars Volta, basically. From there, go into the micro synthesizer, which I basically have set up as a fuzz pedal. And then from there, I actually go into the Helix pedal over here, which at one point to do all the effects that I was trying to do, I had 3 different pedal boards, and that got pretty tedious, lugging all of that around. The keyboard and stuff, I actually used to lug that around before we had a second guitarist, but that's usually just at the studio.
I got you.
Brought that along just because I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this kind of helps me essentially consolidate some of the stuff. I have some pedals that I think aren't replaceable in digital form, but this does a really good job doing what I need it to do for a lot of stuff. So I have 2 different overdrives set up. One that's kind of like the Boss, just the heavy metal pedal.
Yeah.
It's like black metal. It's like crazy sounds. The other one, it's like an Engel modeler, like of a drive channel. Also have like reverb, tremolo, flanger, a couple different delays, a looper set up on here, and also like another. It's actually their Moog pedal, which is funny. All the things in there have different names because of their modelers. They can't actually say it's the orange. They call it like the mandarin.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah.
But for this one, for the Moog pedal, they call it the Asheville pedal. Which I appreciate from Asheville. I was like, all right, cool, that works. But yeah, then from there, I send a stereo signal out so that I'm getting actual stereo effects from all of those different things in there. I also have volume set up on here as well as a pitch that goes an octave up and an octave down. So basically an octave pedal as well too on there. From there, stereo signal go out to the Boss DD6 stereo delay. From there into the Boss slicer pedal. And then from there into the Boomerang looper pedal. It's a really great pedal. It's at MIDI syncs, and that's one of the main things. Oh, I also forget this. I also have this another delay pedal in there as well. The Eventide time factor. But so these three pedals all MIDI sync up. So that's where the MPC comes into the equation. I actually send a MIDI signal from this to control MIDI here. I also have it hooked up here, so that's the Helix gets the MIDI signal as well. So all of the effects are MIDI synced to this. So basically have
Everything's clocked in this. Yeah. So yeah.
And finally from there go into the Lely Little Dual. It's I guess a signal processor basically, or splitter.
Yeah.
Basically, it makes it so that there's definitely full strength signal, not just like just coming like straight out of a pedal. That's not really full signal. You're getting out of both sides. So this cleans up everything at the end of all of that, and sends me a good clean signal into stereo rig at that point.
Yeah.
So there's on one side run orange rocker verb 100s. Just through the orange 212. And on the other side, do the Mesa dual rectifier. Just through the Mesa 212 cabinets and run those and pan those hard left and right with all the stereo effects that I have going on as well.
Yeah, and I've heard that earlier with all the delays. You can hear it ping-ponging back and forth. Which in true stereo, it just blows my mind. I think I'm used in this big surround sound system or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. It helps make everything sound a lot bigger when you're hearing things, from both sides. You can just distinguish there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and so like we talk, and this is kind of the brain of the operation, maybe, or
yeah. So this is this also allows us to run sound for in-ear monitors for live, and this is essentially not just for me, but for the whole entire band. So so Focusrite. Just like interface for computer, so we can plug it into the computer and have everything set up. I have everything pretty much already streamlined and set up, so I don't even need the computer necessarily if I already have it dialed in, and can just use the controls on the front for the fly. But so run everything through here, and that allows me to plug in all this crazy stuff that I have going on, and then from here I can just send a stereo signal out. So
and that's what we're going to be hearing on
exactly.
On the video is a stereo signal just out of this thing.
Yeah, so we got everything going through here and then stereo out of there. So we got everything mixed down, coming out.
So I noticed on your amps too, you're running these cab clones and.
So that's
how we're getting that direct signal.
Yeah, so that's how I end up having a direct signal into here, which I get directly in my in-ear monitors, and then we can mix it into the other signal as well too.
Yeah.
Front of the house as well too.
So hope y'all got that, and if you don't, that's okay. because I'm still confused. But there's a lot going on right here, and I'm just like I'm trying to process everything as we go. And Derek warned me about this. So no, this is awesome. And then, I mean, this takes some thinking out process. This takes some time to get this whole set up like you want it.
It's definitely been a process, and it has been evolving as it goes as well too. It's like, yes, this, I just got the Helix a couple of months ago, and like I said, I had 3 pedal boards that I got to basically compress down to just that.
Yeah.
And then the big one with my my Midi pedals. So
and like I said, there's pedals in there that you can't replace. The Eventide, the Whammy, the Micro Synth, the Boomerang. None of those I don't think you can replace.
Yeah, and it's the built-in wah, like it's nice that it's there, but it doesn't really have the same feel. And like, even though you can adjust it, it doesn't have the same feel for me that the other pedals have. And that red pedal, the Digitech Whammy, like there's something magical about the way that tracks. Yeah.
I always call it the Tom Morello pedal or whatever.
Yeah.
But it does great octaves. It integrates the crazy whammy dives and all that stuff too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I guess, man, if we just want to get a sample of what some of this sounds like, and if you want to talk about what you're doing as you're doing it, it doesn't matter, but we can just, let's hear something.
Sure. So yeah, I can start with it's like a Death Nebula track, starts out with a sample on here, and I can play along with it. So that one, that's the one I started a little earlier. We can give that one a go again, get all the way into it. Just one sample of kind of a mix of some pedals going along with the MPC and a loop, and everything MIDI synced up together.
Yeah, I'm just hearing the amps right now, so that sounds cool in itself. So I don't know what all's going on, but I can't wait to hear what it sounds like played back for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, another really fun thing is like the looper aspect of things, and having the 2 different loopers and being able to kind of go back and forth between them.
Yeah, so, that's awesome. And what style of of rock, or would you call this? I mean, it's kind of its own thing. It's
Yeah, we actually we had one of our friends call it acid doom.
Yeah.
And that's kind of stuck. Like,
Yeah.
we kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of our own brand a little bit. I mean, it's heavy metal, like hard rock, progressive, but borrowing from a lot of different places. So
I can definitely see
we
why
heard that one. That one definitely kind of stuck.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. That's cool. And we're going to throw a link up for Death Nebula, and where you can check you all out on all the social medias, and got music online right now.
Yes, we do. We got stuff that's like on Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah.
and we're working on a release right now. We're almost done with it. We just have to do some vocal tracking. We've already got a single that's about ready to release, so we're excited about that. We got some new material right around the corner.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it for sure.
Yeah.
I know y'all played around like Capone's and stuff a lot, and there in Asheville and kind of the general area, I guess, Knoxville, whatever. I don't know where everybody plays, but anyway, that's y'all definitely go check them out if you see them. You get to see this impressive rig and get to hear everything all together. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
I used to have one of the smaller slicer pedals. That's one of my favorite pedals too.
Yeah, that one's really fun. That's what I was using on that track I was just playing a second ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, especially when you actually MIDI sync it and have it, it's basically, it turns into something like you can play along with, and it's just, it's really good. It's fun.
The micro synth, you said you got it set up like a fuzz basically? Or?
Yeah, so
I'm interested to hear what that would sound like.
there's a lot of different ways you can set it. That there is definitely like a fuzz way to set it, and that's how I like to keep it. This one ends up sounding cool with the keyboard.
That's cool. Every time I see any old Electro-Harmonix pedal, like a big old monster of a pedal, I just love them. Like the old Pogs and everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if y'all haven't been confused yet, you will be. We've talked about the MPC Live. It's basically a lot of your samples and stuff in there.
Right.
How would you use this Chord Chaos pad? Is that something synced with the keyboard as
So
well?
right now I just have it hooked up to the keyboard. I just have it on as a distortion pedal essentially.
I got you.
Let's see if I could even hit these on standby. Maybe put that one in the middle. I turned that down. That's right. So right now I have it affecting the keyboard. But yeah, the easiest way to help. It also helps with with tracking to get it to actually pick up each individual note. Having the distortion on there helps it track a little bit.
Gotcha.
And you also find some fun effects in here too. But yeah, this thing's really fun. It's got a lot going on. It also has its own built-in effects and synthesizers. Just trying to find one of those. What I do? This thing's older and it might goes a little haywire.
Yeah, I've seen the guitars too that have like the built-in Chaos pad on.
Those are really cool. I've seen those as well too. Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. So yeah, Death Nebula, Asheville, North Carolina. He's going to try some of these looper pedals out and see what's going on. I think I need me one of them loop pedals, one of them boomerangs.
Yeah, that was
You could, I guess you could just sit for hours on end at the house and just
yeah, you definitely.
do whatever you wanted to, just get lost and
That's definitely possible to do.
and find yourself late for work the next day and not knowing what happened. You could use a few more legs and arms and like. Yeah. So, speaking of getting lost, I don't remember what you just turned on, turned off, but there was a lot going on right there.
So
Yeah.
Oh shit. So at that one, I was using the two different loopers back and forth from each other. So I started a loop on here. Started with just a beat on here to keep time, and then started with this loop.
Yeah.
And then from there, started a loop on top of it over here. And this one, I started going backwards, forwards, up, down, and pitch. They could drop at half speed, which also drops it down and pitch as well too. So you end up with like different harmonies happening and going on.
Yeah.
And then especially having two of them going at the same time, can do the same things over here, do backwards, forwards, up, down. And so you end up with just all kinds of different combinations. You don't even have to touch the guitar. You can just go back and forth.
Yeah.
And then hit one note with like some delay and a lot of sustain.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I kind of think of the looper like the same way I do a delay pedal. Like, delay pedal basically makes your one note sound like a whole lot more notes.
Yeah.
And a looper is essentially an extension of that. So
Right.
then when you think about that, you can, why stop at a looper? Why not loop some loops and do some?
Yeah.
Just keep going from there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Get some. It's wild. I mean, it's like I really appreciate the amount of time you put into this to come up with that, and the routing itself is pretty extraordinary, and still blowing my mind. But that's all right. It's easily blown. And,
yeah, it's a lot of fun. But, I mean, basically, it's 20 years in the making of tinkering,
Yeah,
putting
sure.
stuff together, and just keeping going. Yeah.
I get in trouble for having a reverb pedal on my pedal board. So, no, this is pretty awesome, and I hope it translates well on the video. I'm sure it's going to sound great. And if y'all want to come check this stuff out live, you need to go watch Death Nebula play live and hear all the sounds with the full band. I've heard Derek in here slapping the bass a little bit, and I can see why he's
he can
wanting all these
play.
crazy effects.
For sure.
Yeah. And no, this is awesome. It's like I said, the most impressive rig we've had in here. And I was watching you load in. It didn't take that long to set up, actually, as much gear as you got.
I'd like to think that I have it pretty streamlined for what it is. And yeah, it's just like setting this up means I've also set up in-ear monitors for the entire band as well too. They just have to plug into here, and then from here we also have this splitter, so we can just go. Also have a snake coming out the back, so whatever goes into here, I have an output to send to the front of the house also.
Yeah, that makes it easy. Just hook up, and y'all have already dialed in what y'all want there. So
yeah, definitely makes it easier, more streamlined for to have it that way.
Yeah.
And that way, still use our monitors and stuff in front of the house, but then we can also have rely upon ourselves to get sound as well too.
Now, I love the fact that you've introduced some of the modeling stuff into with analog effects and still using amps as well.
Yeah.
And two great amps. I mean, dual rec and orange, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, nothing will ever replace the actual physical version of
No.
it. And like actually, the most recent recording we're doing, I've actually bought one of these because we recorded with one, and the sound engineer built my live tone, like essentially right side mesa, left side orange, and still was able to completely produce my tone for the most part, except for some effects with that for the recording.
Yeah.
And it's just streamlines it, so you don't have to worry about buzz from bad electricity or a million things that can go wrong trying to mic an amp.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For that setting. So
Yeah, and
but it's nice to have both worlds as well too.
Yeah, there's nothing like
live
pushing air
sounds.
behind you. There's always something safe
For live
that.
sound, nothing's ever going to replace the amps for me.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Again, Scott Wallace, Death Nebula, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with us and doing this thing.
Yeah, thanks.
Y'all
for
go
having me. This was
follow their
fun.
band and give them some love and go watch them play. They're out of Asheville, North Carolina. That's where he's at. Derek comes in here and shops all the time, so I'll give him credit for shopping here at Campbell's Music. So, man, if you just want to play us a few more tune or another tune, and we'll kind of fade that out into Oblivion.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, I'll rock something else out.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Death Nebula. Scott Wallace, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for coming.
having me.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.